The Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 was an order by U.S. President Abraham Lincoln to free slaves in 10 states. It was applied to slaves in states still in rebellion in 1863 during the American Civil War. It did not actually immediately free all slaves in those states because those areas were still controlled by the Confederacy. It did, however, free at least 20,000 slaves immediately, and nearly all 4 million slaves, according to the 1860 United States Census, as the Union Army advanced into Confederate states. Until the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution in 1865, only the states had power to end slavery with their own borders. Thus, Lincoln issued the proclamation as a war measure in his role as commander-in-chief. The proclamation made emancipation a goal of the Civil War. It also weakened efforts within England and France to officially recognize the Confederacy. As Union troops advanced into rebel Confederate territory, they freed thousands of slaves per day. Many did not wait, but fled their owners to claim their freedom. 5 slave states, the border states, had remained loyal to the Union and were not at war with the federal government. Thus, Lincoln did not have the authority to free slaves in those states, and so this proclamation was not applied in those states. The proclamation also did not apply to Tennessee, nor to areas within Virginia and Louisiana, which Union forces had already controlled. The proclamation was issued in 2 parts. On September 22nd, 1862, Lincoln said that in 100 days he would free all slaves in areas not then under Union control. On January 1st, 1863, he named the 10 states in which the proclamation would then apply: Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Virginia, Florida, and Louisiana. The 5 border states where slavery was still legal were exempt and so not named because they had remained loyal to the Union and were not in rebellion. Tennessee also was not named because the Union forces had already regained control there. Several counties of Virginia that were in the process of separating from that state to form the new state of West Virginia were specifically named as exemptions, as were several parishes around New Orleans in Louisiana. The next only a small number of slaves already behind Union lines were immediately freed. As Union forces advanced, nearly all 4 million slaves were effectively freed. Some former slaves joined the Union Army, and before the war was over, some of the exempted border states ended slavery within their own borders. While the proclamation had freed slaves, it had not made slavery illegal. Thus, Lincoln sponsored a constitutional amendment to ban slavery, the 13th Amendment, which made slavery illegal everywhere in the United States, was passed late in 1865, 8 months after Lincoln was killed.